Moorish science, the science is a reference to knowledge, means knowledge through the eyes of the Moors, or from a Moorish perspective. What that means then, it's requiring us to find out what that is, right? It's then begging the question, what is this?
Melanin rising, Kundalini climbing, up my Jacob's ladder, break my ego down to matter, cause it really doesn't matter on a solar plane, high in my domain, but it's more like my state. Go! Reppin' the holy prophet, but don't forget CMB, Zodiac Constitution, that's in my DNA, Canaanland by bloodline, that's in my DNA, 5-point star with the red flag, on the green like the PGAs, no, 14th Amendment citizen, nationality is imminent, the man with his third eye open is the king land of the blind land, before time landed, divine campus, divine universal mind, beyond universal time, this long lineage of mine, define universal time, I'm metaphysically inclined, try squaring up your conduct, the circle law your desires, if Spain was really Andalusia, how did we invade Spain? They invaded Andalusia, now everybody call it Spain, that's de facto standards, replace that title with the surname, but that ain't your name, cause that's from England, this is Merlin, when we was ruling all the waters, making pirate moves, who had it longer from 700 to 1492 than us, Melanin rising, Kundalini climbing, up my Jacob's ladder, break my ego down to matter, cause it really doesn't matter on a solar plane, high in my domain, but it's more like my state. Go! Asia, major, rapping tales from Asia, major, Mexico and back, Asia, major, call it turning tide, Asia, major, this is certified.
Major, I am the league, hard to crown, ball not base. When I'm playing, not playing. Standing in your face, fez a turban on you, say Moors are gone, niggas tripping. Won't unify for a nation but booze and fried chicken. Astrology is Satanism, but every year you candle blow. Shooting targets, not moving highwaymen you can't handle though. Always debating Moors, but won't debate Khalid or Dr. Ben. Today you diss my prophet, tomorrow you're begging friends to get vaccine exemption forms for COVID or Corona. Falling for orchidox, adrenochrome for melanin donors, unconscious of powers. Read Richard King and Bruce Bynum. Our people lost in the sauce, stay stirring and can't find them, even with a strainer or using my hands in a container. Choosing higher over lower self should be a no-brainer. Claiming to know thyself, to know man's value. You can't be passive or stagnant, you must earth or celestial travel.
Melanin rising, Kundalini climbing, up my Jacob's ladder, break my ego down to matter, cause it really doesn't matter on a solar plane, high in my domain, but it's more like my state. Go! Asia, major, rapping tales from Asia, major, Mexico and back, Asia, major, call it turning tide, Asia, major, this is certified.
What is this Moorish nationality? In the context of Noble Drew Ali, Timothy Noble Drew Ali was to be, as he stated, a divine and national movement.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence of law makes civil little a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt Bay, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had Noble Drew Ali in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for light, the the book of Genesis. Astroplane interests invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life. Finish him.
Moorish Omar, key man or oracle, using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical, lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic, facts slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic, calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved, or cut like a close shave, drowned in my brain waves, squashed by heat waves, activating Kundalini, Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini, Selassie I in exile, reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real, all I see is false evidence, VAR feminists, stomped on by elephants, won't let go prejudice but want Moorish benefits when you feel the pull magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book all maleficent. Great cosmic mothers return to blessedness, no pestilence. Ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no they live shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
It's loud, boys. It's love to all the Moors. They don't want to give it a try. We already told them.
Of Barack Obama's presidency was the fact that he made Joe Biden his VP, the man who penned that crime bill that put more black men in jail today in this country than there are women in jail in the entire world. That was his vice president, and now we're about to have him as a president, potentially. But we still got folks with Barack Obama's picture in their homes, him and Michelle and their family. I don't miss Barack, and I didn't vote for Barack. And we have to be careful with symbols over substance, because he was a symbolic president. And as we saw, that symbolism wasn't enough to keep Breonna from getting killed, to keep David from getting killed, to keep Ahmaud Arbery from getting killed, to keep George Floyd from getting killed. We got tricked. We got bamboozled. We got flim-flam with a Barack Obama. Of Barack Obama's presidency was the fact that he made Joe Biden his VP, the man who penned that crime bill that put more black men in jail today in this country than there are women in jail in the entire world. That was his vice president. And now we're about to have him as a president, potentially. But we still got folks with Barack Obama's picture in their homes, him and Michelle and their family.
He's gonna throw Michelle in there. Let's just go back to Michelle. Michelle, the First Lady, walked down the steep incline called La Cuesta de Santo Domingo as far as the 18th century Palacio del Rey Moro, including its beautiful gardens and all this stuff. The Casa Rey Moro belonged to whoever it belonged to, it doesn't matter. The place is called Casa Rey Moro. And then Michelle and the girls and everybody went there. And then Casa Rey Moro is Moorish king house. Not the black man king house, not the African man king house, not any of those stuff. Moorish. Why Moorish? Why not African? Those are the founders of civilization or whatever like that. Why not an African slave house? Why not a slave king house? Now they're going to go visit the Moorish king house. Of all the places that they can go visit, they want to go there. All right. They want to go to the Moorish king house. And that was on the 7th of August, 2010. And then we get down to August 5th, 2010. The First Lady, with her hair tied up in a bun and wearing a printed rose, orange, and green printed dress with a black belt, then entered the cathedral. They were particularly interested in the tomb of the Catholic monarchs who conquered the region from the Moors in 1492 and financed Columbus's expedition. Why would they be particularly interested in all the stuff that they could know about? All the stuff that they could go know about. They want to know about this war. After the meal, Michelle Obama posed for photographs before beginning the evening tour of the Alhambra Palace and the General Life Gardens. Then you can just look those up and see where those come from. And then ask yourself, how come they're going to go visit places where the Moors ruled? No. We also have to put out there that one of the gifts that Michelle Obama received when going to Spain was a mantilla. This is from the Jews and Moors in Spain. Joseph Krosskoff. Joseph Krosskoff, the Jews and Moors in Spain. This is the first time that we are permitted to gaze upon a Moorish woman's face. Those we met in the streets or parks or saw behind the lattice work of the women's gallery in the mosque were always clothed in the mantilla, which encircled their entire form, and their faces were always hidden under the veil or under the horsehair vizard, which left but the eyes visible. Why are they giving her Moorish stuff when she goes there to visit? Now they're going to talk their BS about Obama, but because they're Negro black colored and they don't have a nationality, they're not going to bring up Obama adopting the UN declarations. This is when he got into office. He didn't waste time. He knew all the BS that was going to be piled up on him. So he set it up so that the people can't say that he didn't give them the same stuff that Noble Drew Ali told them. Because Noble Drew Ali told these people that they're not Negro black colored back then. Prophecy happens because we know for a fact that when Barack Obama got into office, he got a copy of Pleasant Bay's book, Exhuming of a Nation. Right? We know he got a copy. How do we know? Let's show you how we know. How do we know? How do we know? Because this jurisdiction has been divine ministry of Moorish American national government under the Elder Pleasant Bey. And national representative of the Office of Education and Truth. So everybody's down with where we're at, what we're supposed to be doing. Everybody recognizes this is not our stuff that we made up. This is what we were given by them because of the work we're doing. So we have inside information even with regard to this, that Barack Obama got the book. Barack Obama got the book, and then he's adopting some UN resolution that none of these presidents ever even touched or even looked at. And then Negroes are going to say, oh, he never did nothing for us. He works for the Illuminati and he works for them and all this, when he brought you your salvation and your dumbass didn't want it. Now you're mad at him. Why are you mad at him? Don't be mad at him. He brought you your salvation. He signed on to the Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People, which tells you in Article 2 that you have a right to your indigenous origin or identity. Article 2. Indigenous people, this is what Barack Obama signed on to. And then black people are going to say he never did nothing for us, but they're claiming that they're black though. They're claiming they're black Indians. They're claiming they're Cherokee and they're Chippewa and they're claiming all this stuff. But how come they're not standing up behind the thing that the black president said is what it is? Remember, ever since declarations came out, right? None of these U.S. presidents ever even looked at this. Asiatic gets in office, picks his European vice president. There's prophecy with this, with Noble Drew Ali in the 20s, telling people that when the black president and the European president, you know that it's your time. That happened. People weren't ready because they still want to be Negro black colored. So ball dropped. So we're in the after effects of the ball drop. And we're showing you that these people played you. Because the man brought you your salvation, tied you right back to Noble Drew Ali by signing on to the thing that none of these other people who said that they were the president of whatever ever signed on to. And the black man comes and he signs on to it, and then you're saying he sold you out because of some after stuff that he gave you the salvation, you turn away from it, now you're complaining. Right, this is what he signed on to. Article 2. Indigenous people and individuals are free and equal to all other people and individuals, and have the right to be free from any kind of discrimination in the exercise of their rights, in particular that based on their indigenous origin or identity. This is what Barak signed on to. What does that mean? Article 2 means that if you say that you're indigenous, instead of saying you're a nigger, you are on some plantation, some slave master brought you across somewhere, you're actually free. And you're actually equal to all other people. What does that do? That ends any racism. Because now you're talking about UN Declaration of Indigenous People. You're not talking about colors. You're not talking about continents. You're talking about living sentient beings. And if you're talking about living sentient beings, they better have rights. And if they have rights, they better be exercising them. So he brought you the stuff on a platter. Brought you Rome's head on a platter. And then you're talking about, no, you don't want that. That's not what you wanted him to do when he went into office. You wanted him to give you the black whatever so you could do the black whatever. You're not indigenous. What are you talking about? The right to be free from any kind of discrimination. You know Barack Obama ended racism by signing on to UN declarations? And our people, because of their nigger leaders who they love to follow, sold them out into going after civil rights. And now they're mad, complaining about people getting shot in the street. Don't complain. That's what you signed up for. Trust me, you're not going to talk BS about Obama. Because it wasn't like he sold you out like that. The hell you think black man's going to get into office and he's going to have some type of cakewalk in this or whatever? You should have seen from the top that he was put in there as the drop man so they can drop all the BS on him and say, oh, it was his fault and all. Because he let a black man in there, that's why stuff went to crap or whatever. You know they're going to do that. But nah, you're from Unity or whatever, where you're going to pull your brother down in some Illuminati BS when you brought your salvation. What else do you do? Right? What else he signed on to? He signed on to Article 6. That every indigenous individual has the right to a nationality. Oh, look at that. In the 1920s, Noble Drew Ali told our people, you're not Negro, black, colored, you're Moors, because you have a nationality. You are a nation. Here's your flag. Here's your headwear. Here's how you can dress. Here's your own holy book. Here's your own school. Here's your own temple. Here's your own manufacturing company so you can make all the herbal remedies that you're going to use to save the world. Here's your community center. Here's your Unity Hall where you're going to have all your meetings and all your whatever, and every year everybody's going to come here and all that. And now here you are complaining about what the black president didn't do. When he told you, in these people's face, I'm signing on to this. I don't care what you people say. Remember, signed on to it. So, he's signing on to this thing about individuals have right to nationality. He's in office now, you know what I mean? He signed on to the stuff, and then what happens? And he started getting hit with some of these. He started getting hit with notices from the Moors. And then you see him going in speeches and he's talking about, yeah, you know, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship and Morocco being the first to recognize our people and all that stuff, and our government, and we want to thank you, Morocco, because we love you so much for doing what you did for our nation. Well, we'll let you know that while he was doing his little speeches, we know that he got the writs. We know he got the writs. And he didn't get the writs from a Moor talking some BS as if this is about some individualism. These came from Moors who were doing this on behalf of the Moorish nation, because this is where their mindset was when a black guy got into office. Put him on notice. What to put him on notice of? All right, let's see. Let's see what he got put onto. tell me about some Pope letter to Obama. How about the Moors letter to Obama? How about that? Why we bring that up? You're not going to bring that up, though. But you're going to bring up your Pope. Right? You're not going to bring up the Moors letter to Obama. But you're going to bring up your little Pope guy. As if he has some type of authority. Honorable President Barack Obama. Greetings from the Moorish nation. Right, this is all of you talking. All of you in the chat, whether you knew about this or not, if you're just finding out about this today, guess what? Moors looked out for you. This is how Moors talked on your behalf while you were dumb nigger sleeping. Right? While you're sleeping, and we're trying to wake you, pour water on you, you don't want to wake up, and then you finally came to your senses. This is what you missed. Greetings from the Moorish nation, the aboriginal natural people of the land. This international proclamation is made on behalf of all the aboriginal Moors dwelling on the inherited terrestrial lands of our foremothers and forefathers, being Northwest Amexem, Northwest Africa, North America, the North Gate, also referred to as the continental United States, North America. This affidavit is made as a public notice to the President of the United States of North America and to the honorable nations of the earth, and stands to acknowledge all the enlightened Moors who have regained consciousness of their consanguinity, noting an awareness of the miscreant misclassifications and misnomers socialized as the colonial orientation brands such as Negro, Colored, Black, African American, Ethiopians, Puerto Rican, and Jamaican, etc., etc. Be it affirmed that the geographical continent known today and referred to as North America, inclusive of the area politically associated as the United States of America, is in fact Northwest Amexem. Ancient Amexem includes and consists of the territories North America, South America, Central America, and the Atlantis Islands referred to as the Caribbean Islands. The aboriginal natural people of these lands are of Moabite Moorish descent, being who their foremothers and forefathers were and are without doubt or contradiction. Moors are the heirs apparent to the lands and territories forenamed, and are the rightful benefactors to the resources and hereditaments, corporal and incorporeal. The primogenitor foremothers and forefathers of the Northwest Amexem Moors are the natural people of the land, who permitted the Albion Angloman, referred to today as European colonists, to establish moral government guided by an ethically adopted constitution. The Europeans were conditionally allowed to come to our inherited land and secured for them to live in peace and their oppressors in Europe, peace from their oppressors in Europe. This allodial-oriented thinking and consciousness is clearly outlined in the Declaration of Independence, a nature's law document expressing the precepts upon which the European colony persons declared their independence. Let me make it clear that these Albions are in fact not originally Europeans, as Europe is the continent of the ancient Moabite Queen Europa, who permitted the Albions to live on the land known as the Isle of Albion or Angaland. However, and for making political distinctions, Albions are referred to as Europeans, and then we would even put modern in front of that. Right. This is the letter to President Obama, 2011, from the Moorish nation to President Barack Obama. The Amity and Commerce Peace Treaty Agreement was initially instituted between our forefather, King George, and our forefather, the Sultan of Morocco, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, in the year 1199, corresponding to 1786 AD, and ratified under the Arthur St. Clair administration in the year 1787, corresponding to 1200. King George has been misrepresented by European colonizers and reconstructors of history and giving the spacious appearance of a pale-faced complexion. This type of formula of misrepresented history was done by consistent and deceptive efforts to write themselves into various vital or authoritative aspects of world history, some in which they actually played no factual or primal part. European colonial misinformation strategies and distortions were set in place and perpetuated for the support of forced servitude, arbitrary and peonage profiteering. As an example, national identity is a primal issue associated with sociological and estate matters and controversies, invoking by their nature diversity or consular jurisdiction affirmations. Establishing proofs for the record are thus needed and necessary for clarifying the true status of the natural people of the land. Nationality without qualifications has been referred to by the monopolizing European colonists as their 14th Amendment conditions of citizenship. This artificial statutory construct was devised by colorable intent in order to confuse the natural people. However, on the North American continent, nationality, which equates to citizenship, can only be determined by jus sanguinis, as this North American continent is under the jurisdiction of binding international treaty law. Jus sanguinis is derived from Moorish Latin and means right of blood. It stands as a rule in jurisprudence that a child's citizenship is determined by its parent's citizenship. So this is what he was told. Right? And then you can go read it. You can go read it. International Proclamation to the Nations, R.V. Bay Publications. International Proclamation to the Nations, R.V. Bay Publications. So we just wanted to make sure we put that out there for all these cowards blaming Obama, saying that he didn't do anything for them and all this, when he brought them their salvation, the same salvation that Noble Drew Ali brought them, and they didn't want it. They'd rather be a coward and keep marching and picketing, opposed to proclaim and declare their nationality and who they are. Right? Remember, this is all in the letter. I speak out against such artfully constructed frauds and make this known to all European colonizers, immigrants, or occupiers who have said or who have propagated this feigned lack of knowledge of these historical facts. I also rebut and rebuke those who have continued to imply and teach distorted and reconstructed history, deemed to stifle, degenerate, and pervert the progress of unconscious Moors and their descendants of today. The transplanted European feudal law practices and their de facto posturing of feigning ignorance of law is no excuse. To further prove pretense and disingenuousness on the part of many European politicians and their agency representatives, see American State Papers, Senate 8th Congress, First Session, number 184 and 185, page 591 to 593. The evidence shows where Thomas Jefferson, William Bainbridge, and James Simpson discuss and record communications with the Emperor of Morocco. The Moors, who are nationals of the Moroccan Empire, are also discussed along with the Treaty of 1786, in which the Emperor of Morocco assures Thomas Jefferson has been accepted and that the European colonists will be protected. let us also bring into account a revealing letter issued from the hand of President George Washington to Mohammed ibn Abdullah, Sultan of Morocco, dated December 1st, 1789. The letter was signed and sent in the city of New York, which is and always will be the seat of the Moorish Empire. There has been and is much confusion regarding what the United States of America is founded upon. The true foremothers and forefathers of this North Gate continent are Moors. The established law of the land was absolutely not founded on any Christian religion. That truth was affirmed in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States and the Bey and the subjects of Tripoli of Barbary, signed in 1787. And it goes on and on. Oh, let's get this part in there. The fact still remains true that the Moors never participated in any free elections by free will or by elected representatives from their own national peers. There is no record in history that shows that Moors branded as blacks have ever agreed to be United States citizens. There is no public record that ever displayed any evidence of any naturalization process or ceremonies wherein Moors branded as blacks have ever agreed to corporate 14th Amendment citizens of the occupying European colonists. This fact dispels any implied agreement by Moors branded as blacks to participate as artificial person corporate entity citizens under the plausible 14th Amendment. Any untoward actions or claims initiated by United States corporate persons or government agencies proposing to misclassify Moors or to impose any de facto claims of jurisdiction are herein rebutted forever. The misrepresenting persons of the corporate United States of America et alia never had any legitimate, valid, or lawful claims of jurisdiction over Moors of the land. Any acts or claims made by any representatives for the United States or any claims made by any of the representatives of the several states or by their agencies to the contrary constitutes human trafficking, piracy, and acts of misprision and treason. Peonage has been their function and colors their purposes of operations. This is what we're working on that Patreon, whatever. But, So this is what was put out on behalf of Moors, by Moors. Now, they didn't take some grand whatever position. They're talking for all Moors worldwide. So when they come pressing you about some Pope letter and stuff like that, and the Pope shut them down and all this stuff, ask them about, how come you're not pushing the letter that the Moors wrote to about? This is the international proclamation from Moors to President Obama. And it's on rvbaypublications.com. Just look up International Proclamation to the Nations, RV Bay Publications, in Google. And there it is. Download it. use it as a study tool, use it as a template. But that's what Moors have done. And that's what Barak helped to push by signing on to the UN declarations. And then now you're facing all this BS and you're looking at he did something, he didn't do something, he's at fault because he signed this bill and that bill. You only signed those stuff because your dumbass didn't proclaim your nationality. What the hell else is he supposed to do? What else is he supposed to do? First thing he did, came in office, signed the UN declarations thing, and then you're playing around marching and picketing. And then he was saying things that Moors have been telling you for pre him. And you're still playing around like you don't want it? Alright, then don't have it. And then take what you get. It's nothing personal. It's nothing against you. But you're not Negro black colored. If you're gonna continue to be Negro black colored, your black president came and told you he's not black, he's Kenyan and all that. You still playing around? Alright. Then you lose. If you have any questions, throw it in the chat and just put it in all caps. So don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Oh yeah, forgot. I forgot. So if Jamal is a domestic terrorist to Moors because he's exercising the right to bear arms, how come people's ex-wife who wants to pistol whip Cujo aren't domestic terrorists? Where's the videos about them being domestic terrorists? Or not them, her. We just want to know if there's going to be the same energy to the pistol whipper as there is to the exercise Second Amendment. Because you can't say somebody's a domestic terrorist because they have guns, but then you're riding with the lady who wants to go pistol whip people. That's called hypocrisy. Which should let you know, this is that part in the movie where you know you done fucked up, right? Yeah, but then, no. You know you fucked up, right? So we just want to let you know on the record. Everybody knows that you messed up. Are you going to accept that you messed up and stop playing games? Because if she's going to talk about, can we just pistol whip him? And you're talking about, no ma'am, God doesn't want all that and all that stuff, then you're full of BS with the stuff with Jamal. You're full of BS because you're not talking down on her and talking to her about her pulling out her pistol and wanting to beat somebody with it. No talk about her being sovereign citizen. No talk about her being anti-government. No talk about her being a terrorist. But she has a pistol that she's going to go beat somebody with. So just know that's you in that scene right now. But then I tried, but then well, if how do we all that? And on top of that, since you want to talk crazy, which is even a crazier level of hypocrisy, that certain Moors that you don't want to mention their name and all that stuff, I bet you they exercise Second Amendment. I bet you. And then if they're exercising Second Amendment, how are you telling me you're going to listen? Okay, so there's a Moor that exercises Second Amendment. He's a domestic terrorist and you don't want nothing to do with him. But then there's another Moor who exercises the Second Amendment who you're down with and you're going to go get counseling from? That's hypocrisy. And that's 2 strikes of hypocrisy. Stop playing around. Whatever the hell it is you're dealing with, don't try to pull Moors into your BS. Like, it's not working. Like, we know, people have communication degrees and stuff like that. They think that they can out-talk and outsmart smart people. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You only do that stuff on the dummies. Those games there don't work on people who know their self. So stop playing games. Stop playing games. Do up your little apology letter to the Moor for calling him a domestic terrorist, because clearly you don't have a problem with people with arms, because ex-wife wants to pistol with people, and a pistol is Second Amendment. And then you're going and talking to all these Moors, well, what should we do about the situation with Kudro and all this? And then all these different Moors that you talk to, I know for a fact that there's some of those Moors exercise Second Amendment. And you're not calling them domestic terrorists. Right? So let's go make your little apology to the Moor for trying to mess up his life, trying to get him murdered, talking crazy. I already know that his door got kicked in and stuff like that by these people. I already know that they have it out for him, but you're going to go put out there that he's a domestic terrorist. But then somebody you're having a message with is talking about pistol whipping somebody, and you're not telling them they're domestic terrorists. How come? Why? Because it's your friend? Oh, so because it's your friend, she could be she's okay to exercise amendment, and you can't. You're playing games. You're gonna play. You're gonna play their game.
Islam. Grand afternoon. I couldn't help but listen to you talk about our brother again, and the issues that he's going through. I'm a veteran, and we spoke the last time. I'm a veteran, military, the Army.
Yep. There it goes. They're gonna play with our stuff. Always.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back now.
All right. So, like I was saying, I'm an Army veteran, and we as veterans, we don't like the word domestic terrorism. We use that for people that's foreign to our Constitution. In case y'all people don't know what foreign is, that means anybody that's outside the title of American is thus deemed as an enemy. So when we are called domestic terrorists outside of our uniform, that makes us angry. Now, if y'all understand what the brother did, he got off the media altogether because what was going on in his head. And it's a major issue with, you know what I'm saying, with veterans. Like we go through things, you know, because we had to step outside of our moral bodies in order to do things that we shouldn't have done. And being called a terrorist is one of those things we do not take lightly. Because when we swear an oath, we swear to protect, defend, and uphold the Constitution, including its 10 amendments. Now you're familiar with the 10 amendments and the militia and all that. I'm not understanding how are we being called terrorists when we put our life on the line to protect our fellow Americans. And I'm not understanding how we being called terrorists.
Islam.
You know, and it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking when we as Moors and Americans have to go through that judgment by our own people, not knowing that we made a sacrifice physically and mentally to put our life on the line for the future of our country. Now, when we say country, I'm not meaning just one country. I'm meaning the entire continent. We fight on a daily basis for the entire continent of the American people. All right, the American people. This is for you, but I'm speaking in general to the people that's watching this. We fight for the American people. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't know what American means, please get a dictionary. We fight for the American people. That's all we've ever done. And to be called a terrorist by our own people, that's a slap in the face.
Right. That is a fact.
And people, and you know what I'm saying? And I was actually deployed when I came back into the States in November when that declaration was put out. I was actually coming from Iraq when that declaration was put out. But that's just to show the people that, you know, wherever we went, when I was over there, they was the same color as me. No, I'm not. They was the same identity as me. You know, they looked just like me, the hair and all. And when you put that up there, you know, I had to come on and it was like, for those people who don't actually know what that is he said it's an international document. It's not just America. It's an international document. Like it went from. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You just reminded me of something.
Yeah, it's an international document, you know, and if Moors would read over that and understand the timing of that, like the timing of that declaration couldn't have come better. If every Moor was familiar with Thanksgiving, that declaration ties into that. You know what I'm saying? Because what happened on that day, we never got credit for. We never got credit for saving their grandparents, their great-great-grandparents, their great-great-great-grandparents. We never got credit for that. All we got was hate, death, and that was it.
Yep.
And those are exactly all the places. And the last one was actually supposed to be a lot of people don't know, Benghazi was supposed to be one of the places that the consulate was supposed to be set up. It was supposed to be a consulate set up in Benghazi. It was going to be it was going to run as a bank to put the gold and stuff in, but Hillary got a hold of it, and that's what happened when Beirut. She actually sacrificed six soldiers for that to happen. If you read in the news, 6 soldiers was killed during that bombing. That was what they call a necessary sacrifice.
Oh, so speak on it more, because one thing that is apparent, that collateral damage is a normal thing now. In order for
it's what they call you had to correct. It's what they call collateral damage. But Don't let that fool y'all, because Donald Trump and Mike Pompeo, they masters at that media shit. They'll tell you it's collateral damage. We know what collateral damage is as far as human life goes.
Now, okay, let's talk about this too. Now, what about as far as is it logical for them to store all that stuff that they say they had there that just blew up? from a military, because if you have that stuff, then it must be some type of military operation. So
from a logical standpoint, from the operations, from our operations manual, from a logical standpoint, yes, for them to destroy that, they had to, because if they didn't, guess who was gonna get it?
Right.
The local nationals. And if the local nationals got a hold of it, what do you think that was gonna do? It was gonna spread and spread and spread. Why do you think they call it the COVID? It's the spread of truth. That's why COVID has everybody locked up in the house. Everybody's supposed to be studying right now, researching. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But instead, everybody watching TV and and whatnot. We're supposed to be studying. That's why you have to read between the lines with Donald Trump when he says the American people, American people, American people. He won't say Europeans. He won't say white Americans. He always says American people, American people. Y'all have to understand, when he says American, he's talking about us. So they had to destroy that, because if they didn't, those local nationals were going to take it and spread their information throughout throughout the international world. And it was going to come back in America, and they would come to find out that they would actually have to be forced out of the country, which is basically what they're doing over there. They're trying to find a way to leave. So they're creating disasters to leave. So when y'all start hearing disasters in America, like explosions and shit right there, they getting ready to leave, because they getting rid of everything that they did. So when they leave, they won't have to account for it. For nothing. That's crazy. That's a crazy concept. That's a crazy concept. They have to get rid of it so they won't have to take responsibility for it. Right, for what was there. Exactly. You need evidence if you're gonna. Yeah. So that was the whole thing with Benghazi, because what they was trying to do, they were trying to move that gold, all that stuff from there, and they was trying to move it over here to a military base. That's why Donald Trump was talking about renaming the bases, so we wouldn't know what bases they're at.